Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me, Megan Hoffmeyer.
Sarah Newark, DJ Valentine, Billy Business, and Brendan Peters. This is Nandi Boetes. This is Nathan Leahy. It's David Cross. It's Jake Lewitt. Norbert Morvan. It's Lisa Leahy. Joey Lewandowski. John Levingood. Professor Mike Dillon. Nick Riak. It's Niall Moore. Adam Youngblood Hodges. Eric Hoffmeyer. It's Johnny Nunn.
Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who actually likes some boar worms. It's Niall Moore.
Hey, Mark, I love you, but we've only got an hour to record this podcast, so
let's get going. We only have, 14 hours to save the world?
Yeah. I love you, Flash, but we've only got 14 hours to save the world. Exposition dump.
Oh, I love this movie. This movie's great. This is what happens when an Italian producer works with a guy for a year, fires them during pre-production, hires another guy who's known for crime stories. They hire a guy who was on the dating show, had one movie credit to his name. And then
they hired the writer of the 60s Batman film to write the script.
60s Batman film. And then they just cast a bunch of people who love Flash Gordon. And then they bring in this amazing Italian production designer costumer, doesn't speak English and probably didn't read the script and is just looking at the comic book. And no one knew what exactly was going to be finished when or where. And you have Flash Gordon.
Yeah, well, apparently with the production designer, I watched the director's commentary and he said, yeah, he just kind of did what he wanted.
Yeah.
He just kind of built things he wanted to build. He didn't really care about what we were making.
And I love it, but that's why I think this movie works. You have just Dalton running around looking slick. Like he's looking like a future Bond.
This is pre-Bond. Yeah, this is pre-Bond Dalton. He would have been 25, 26, I guess, at that point.
Just looking like a future Bond actor. Brian Blessed just screaming everything. And God bless him.
I think he's only got 2 volumes, Loud and Louder.
I watched one of his panels for this movie and I'm like, this guy's amazing. Like when he's hung up as a hawkman, he was just going pew, 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 pew. And he got called out for that, but he acted the whole thing out. You have right now, you have Sam Jones, he's likable in it. I think he did a good job, but he kind of got on Her Majesty's Secret Service a little bit.
He got the wild-eyed naivety of the fish out of water character, right? I think partially because he was such an inexperienced actor, he was just kind of being like, hey, I don't know why you've even hired me. I'm just here and I'm going to say the lines and be surprised about everything.
I worked at probably 30 Comic-Cons with him when he was there, but I'd never watched Flash Gordon. I just knew him as a really nice dude. I wish I would have seen Flash Gordon so I actually could have talked to him about it because I had so many opportunities, but I never did. Maybe that's why he liked me, because I just chatted with him about the weather and stuff like that. But he's cool. Dale Arden, she's great in this movie. She gets a fight scene. She could do flips, Niall.
Yeah, and I loved how she would put her shoes down, then do some kind of fight scene thing, and then she remembered to pick up the heels again just to make sure, because she's got to have the ensemble, right?
You got to teach Jurassic World a thing or two. Topol is incredible. Him and his assistant just sleep in their clothes, which is great.
Of course.
I mean, Ornella Muti as Princess Aura, she's just classic Italian sensual.
She exudes 80s kind of sexy foreign chick.
Man, this girl's really turning me on. What? Oh, nothing. I didn't mean that.
It's a very horny movie.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's what the producer said too. He's like, listen, kids love the movie because of the bright noises and the cheeky stuff. He's like, but teenagers love this movie because it's a very horny movie. Jeez Louise. I think my favorite couple is Timothy Dalton or Prince Baron and Princess Aura. They're just fighting the whole time. You're full of crap. Just arguing.
He's definitely giving Bond vibes, like you said. Throughout. It's almost okay. He's not taking any crap, and she is an object for him to win rather than an equal.
And she's actually pretty good at what this movie's crazy. A guy, a flying hawk person, gets shot in the wing, and he goes, "He winged me." Can you explain the plot of Flash Gordon, Niall?
It starts with Ming the Merciless.
Max von Sydow.
which is a great name.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow, who is
Mhm.
he understood the level of scenery chewing required, that being total for the character.
Yeah.
No scenery must be left unchewed. He had a great time in the role, and he is toying with Earth. Supposedly, he kind of reveals later on that if nobody responds, he will let them just think these disasters are natural and carry on. If the people respond, then he realizes they're smart enough to be a threat to him, so he wipes them out. Flash Gordon, for some reason, he thinks he's a better pilot than the pilots, even though he's had like three flying
Oh,
lessons, is in a plane with Dale Arden, who is a travel agent, I believe,
yes,
but
travel agent who hates flying.
uh, who hates flying, but anyway, and they crash into a disgraced NASA person's house who happens to have a spaceship in his conservatory, and they fly off to meet this threat, and then we get introduced to all the weird and wonderful inhabitants of the planet Mongo. You've got Ming, and you've got the hawkmen, and you've got the forest men. There were some ice people, and then there were some lion people as well.
And General Kala
And
and General
and it's
Cletus.
basically then Flash's optimism turns all of these kind of subjugated subjects of Ming into a ragtag group of resistance fighters, and they try to overthrow the evil emperor. And the existence of Flash Gordon is, it's the reason we have Star Wars.
Yeah.
George Lucas wanted to option Flash Gordon, but Federico Fellini had was in the process of optioning the rights or something, and I think it was before Dino De Laurentiis got them. And because Lucas couldn't get Flash Gordon, he decided, I'm going to make something very much in the spirit of Flash Gordon, which turned out to be Star Wars.
Jeez Louise. The names that were involved with this, Niall. It's crazy. The people that worked on this. Queen does a soundtrack. I mean, some of it.
And
And
and it's phenomenal.
yeah, I mean, even the score, like there's another guy who was brought in to do extra music. He did a wonderful job on it. It's just a I
You
have the
had
name.
what's his face, who was the Star Wars DP,
Yeah, the Star Wars
um,
DB shot this. He's
Gilbert Taylor.
like the sets look great. I think Dino De Laurentiis, he wanted to make this cheeky, and boy did he succeed.
Well,
He he made it
he
cheeky.
signed on. He signed on. What's his name?
Oh, Howard Blake was the
Lorenzo.
composer. Sorry about that.
So Lorenzo Semple Jr. So Lorenzo Semple Jr. wrote Batman 1966 and something like 120 episodes of the Batman series. He wrote Never Say Never Again. He'd written, if you want someone to write something silly with that kind of camp action, he is perfect for it. I'm just surprised we didn't get like the giant kapow thwack
Every time a
Batman
football,
style pop-ups.
every time an orb hit
Um,
one of the wildly inept guards that Ming calls out in the movie, which made me very
well,
happy.
it was nice of them to try to play football with Flash rather than just shoot him.
Every single one of the guards in this movie, whether it's Dalton or just Flash or let's see, Dale or Aura, they get wiped out so easily in this movie. And there's different henchmen too, right? There's the squeaky ones that make the weird noises. There's the
There's the
cast.
guys with the kind of sad monkey mask things. They were kind of like gold. They wore these gold masks and they looked like sad monkeys. There were the secret police Gestapo ones who were working for Clytus, who were all in black.
Mhm. Many different. There's a hierarchy there, and they were all costumed by what Danilo Donati. Like this guy did
Yes.
Caligula. He did Salo. Like or the 120 Days of Sodom. Like the Canterbury Tales. Like this guy had
And
won
he went
Oscars
wild.
before. Yeah, he.
I didn't count it, but I'm fairly certain Flash changed costume at least 5 or 6 times in the movie.
Oh man,
He,
bright red outfits, gorgeous
and
outfits.
somehow was able to have outfits that either had his name on them or a lightning bolt representing him, even though all he had on him to start with was a t-shirt and jeans.
And they never explain it. This movie doesn't need the explanation, does it? It just
No.
it just
You get
moves.
into it, and then you just hear the Queen theme tune. It's like ding 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 ding. It's like Flash. It's like okay, perfect. I'm in.
Yeah. And it's just everyone's I guess it's kind of nice watching a hero who, aside from him telling the pilots what to do, he's quite a genial guy. He's a friendly, optimistic dude. And
Well, supposedly the only note that he gave to Mike Hodges was during kind of the climactic battle scene where he was supposed to sneak up behind one of the guards and hit him from behind. And he's like, no, Flash would never do that. Flash would always face an enemy head on.
their little fight too with Dalton and him, like
And they had that fight on the tilting platform with spikes.
you could tell that Sam. So I've listened to interviews, and now he's like a personal security guard. But this guy, I know he flew to London, and no one gave him much direction when they got out there. I think Hodges was so busy just trying to make a movie because he had no time either, and he was a little bit out of his league, and he was dealing with a guy who,
Well, he'd been parachuted in almost last minute because Dino De Laurentiis had fired the previous guy, or the previous guy had stepped away, or whatever had happened.
Rogue, who
Yeah.
did Don't Look Now, which is kind of crazy. So Hodges is playing catch up. They don't know what the costumes are. They the sets are being built willy nilly, and I think Sam Jones was just out there sort of enjoying himself. They're like, "What did you
Well,
like?"
Hodges himself. So I listened to his commentary,
Oh,
and he even says, "I didn't know what was coming next. We didn't storyboard any of this. I just kind of went in and winged it."
what are some other funny things you heard in the commentary?
Well, he definitely he was making some political commentary. The commentary was recorded in about the year 2000, so he was complaining about Bush and illegal wars in Iraq. But I, as I said to you, it's like you could very, very easily make the point that similar things are happening today. Just substitute in Venezuela, and his comments wouldn't be too out of place.
So he went off on tangents about that during a commentary.
Yeah, he was very, very upset about that. And then the other kind of thing he was saying was just that it was the costume designer kept trying to get sequins onto Flash Gordon's outfits. That was his entire thing. So we could have had a completely bedazzled, sequined Flash Gordon, but the director stopped that.
Why? Do you think that might have made the movie better? Just because sequins on Flash Gordon.
I mean,
when
if you
he's
just look at every element of the production design, when Flash is executed and you go to his coffin, his
they're wiping
gravestone
it.
is the logo. His gravestone is the logo of the movie. It's Flash
Man.
Gordon is brilliant.
Oh, I love that so much
It's
that
just
they made that.
shameless.
And it happened so quick too. So as soon as he gets woken up because he got something before he was gassed, he gets woken up and then he just has a perfectly tailored outfit waiting for him. I guess that makes sense considering all the technology.
And then he takes a sensual ride in the spaceship with the princess.
He uses the psychic cell phone to call
It-
Dale.
It's psychic telephone to call Dale and be like, "Hey, I'm totally not dead, by the way." And then
And this chick is turning me on.
Ming's concubines sending, providing Dale with, I don't know, liquid Rohypnol or something, so that Ming can come along and have his way with her later.
Yeah, and she won't mind forgetting about it. I think that's what it was.
That's probably a little bit problematic these days, but
And
it was the 80s.
I love that he says, "Oh man," the actual line is, "Oh man, this girl is really turning me on." And also, whenever this movie plays, the British Board of Film Classification, they added a warning about it. They called it discriminatory stereotypes for the film's recent re-release. So when the movie pops up, it has a warning in the beginning about Max's portrayal of merciless of Ming. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't think. I mean, he's supposed to be evil, right?
Yeah, I know they're playing with the Eastern stereotypes, but he's just speaking like a British guy. Like I know the costume designer, this Italian maniac, probably just looked at the comics and was like, "All right, we're just gonna do him like that." So
But
I don't know.
what
It's
he
hard to.
nailed was the movement. He was There wasn't a single scene he was in where he wasn't standing with poise and grace and just ready to deliver another monologue.
I mean, much like Frank Langella from Master of the Universe, you said it earlier. Both of them loved being these, like they loved playing these parts, and you could feel it. Like Brian Blessed,
Well,
just the
Max
way he's
von Sydow at that point, he'd been doing a bunch of really, really serious films, like a bunch of Bergman stuff, Seventh Seal,
yeah
etc. Very
yeah.
highbrow. And apparently he loved doing this because it just let him be silly.
Oh, super silly. And you know what I love too about this movie? This movie exists because of the success of Star Wars, which actually it was in production maybe before Star Wars, but Star Wars it owes a lot of its existence to that. But I love that like Buck Rogers appeared in 1928, but then King Features Syndicate wanted their own. So they had Alex Raymond create Flash Gordon for them. So I love that Flash Gordon happened because of Buck Rogers, and I love that Flash Gordon happened because of Star Wars. So it's kind of fun seeing like it happened because of Buck Rogers, and then it happened because of Star Wars. I like that. I don't know. It kind of makes me happy.
Yeah, it's one of those happy coincidences, I guess, where Star Wars was the reason that you could get budget for a a space opera,
Yeah,
basically. I think before the success of Star Wars, it would have been very much B movie territory. Whereas after Star Wars did silly money for the 70s, all of a sudden it's like, wow, okay, if you do serious science fiction, you can do it. And I think that's where the previous director and Dino De Laurentiis butted heads a little bit. He wanted to keep it serious, and Dino understood that you needed the silliness to make it work.
I completely agree. I wouldn't remember when John Carter came out. If we're talking about Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, John Carter.
Yeah, I did not see it. I heard it was rubbish.
So it looks good, but it's played just so seriously. It's not fun. It's like
But
it looks
even
good.
Star Wars has loads of comedic
Yeah.
elements to it.
This one, it was a Pixar guy making his live action debut. Huge budget that went out of control. I love Taylor Kitsch, but he's he just wasn't John Carter. And so like the whole thing is just an odd film. But I think they would have been better off to just have fun with it. I don't know. I think the Star Trek movies we like. Wrath of Khan's quite serious, but 4 is silly. 4 you have fun with it. Like I think sometimes you don't always have to, go full super like Star Wars, I guess, even though there's a
I
lot of
mean,
jokes in it.
six has its comedic moments as well when you're
Yeah,
looking at Star Trek.
and 6 rules. So I don't know, I kind of like it. But I like what Ebert had to say about Flash Gordon. He's like, it's fun to see it done with energy and love and without the pseudo meaningful apparatus of the Force and Trekkie power. And then Mike Hodges, the British director hired by De Laurentiis to orchestrate this comic space opera. I love that name. As true to the visual tradition of the original series, everyone is dressed in capes and ridiculous boots and headdresses and stand around on the command desk of ornate spaceships. There's an imperial court to applaud and boo at the appropriate times. Like I think that's a good summation of this movie. It's just big and silly,
And what
and
Hodges got right was he understood that he was making a comic book movie.
yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't supposed to be serious. It has that extra worldly dimension where you're going to have ridiculously bright colors. You're going to have this crazy in your face, and you need a little bit of levity to go with some of the themes to make some of them palatable.
I agree. And there's a lot more that was supposed to be shot. They just ran out of time because all the costumes and artwork
Well, there
took
was
forever.
supposedly a hallucinated scene where Dale became a spider that was cut somewhere. Because I think they even went as far as filming it, and then they looked at it and they realized it didn't fit in the plot anywhere. They just filmed this scene for the sake of it.
And the lady had to get covered in paint. I remember that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so like with dialogue where Prince Voltan, Gordon's alive, like just
Gordon's alive.
oh man, and like no, not
Flush.
flush. No, not the boar worms. Or do you promise not to blast her into space? Like what? and just
until the appropriate time.
like, don't empty my mind, please. I beg you. My mind is
Hmm.
all I have. I've spent my whole life trying to fill it. And just like, are your men on the right pills? Maybe you should execute their trainer. And just there's that one place who's like this.
There are so many silly little lines in it.
Oh man,
It's
uh,
it's just great.
yeah, and like I love this place is a lunatic assignment. So Megan was sitting next to me doing. I think she's putting together a Lego. I got her this really cool Star Wars helmet, like a stormtrooper, one of the pilots, and she just stopped and kept watching the movie. She's like, "This movie's really funny and silly," and like just I love it. She's like, "Would you leave us alone? I just got engaged."
After
Oh
knowing each, so I don't know, did Dale and Flash know each other before? I don't think they did.
no,
And they've gone from one traumatic event to being engaged by the end of the movie. That's quite a swift engagement. Even Keanu and Sandy B didn't go that fast in speed. And as they correctly pointed out, all these high adrenaline situations is no basis for a relationship. So I don't know how Flash Gordon and Dale's relationship is going to expand.
it's such a 1930s thing though, or 1940s when it was created. Just kind of, all right, we're getting married now. We just met. Sometimes I watch like Stranger Things in these shows and you have the couples in there, and I'm like, if they ever split up, it's going to be a real bummer because they went through a lot. But yeah, but I mean, everyone kind of couples up in this movie. I think this makes Aura and Dalton a better couple.
Well, Aura, I think, practically had a romantic scene with almost every male character who wasn't her father.
She's just out
She
there.
she was using her sexuality as a weapon.
And listen, I know you already explained the plot, but can you just I just want to read this paragraph from Wiki. Just the first paragraph. To relieve his boredom, Emperor Ming the Merciless of the planet Mongo begins Earth destruction by remotely causing natural disasters. On Earth, football star Gregory Flash Gordon boards a small plane and meets travel agent Dale Arden. Mid-flight, the cockpit is hit by a meteor and the pilots die. Flash takes control and manages to crash land into a greenhouse owned by a former NASA scientist, Dr. Hans Zarkov. Zarkov believes that the disasters are being caused by extraterrestrials pushing the moon towards Earth. Hey, Moonfall. He has secretly constructed a spacecraft to investigate the attacks. Unable to do it alone, he lures Flash and Dale aboard. He flies them to Mongo, where they are captured by Ming's troop. That's like the first 10 minutes of this
Yes.
movie.
And the spaceship is very poorly designed.
These two people.
And you need two people, and one of them has to put their foot on this red thing. Surely, if it's just putting a foot, that you could just automate that.
And is anything left of the Earth? Because if the moon is 14 minutes away from destroying Earth, it's just got to be rubble by now, correct? If that hot hail keeps landing, the world's done.
I think, as Ming said, the people will not be the same as they were before.
What does that mean?
They will have suffered a little bit.
So there's going to be no more football stadiums.
It
probably.
Depends on which side of the Earth the moon happened to be when it was coming close, because it could have been in the middle of the Pacific.
That's a good point. How many days does this take place?
Well, we know the finale is the last 14 hours. But it seems to all go really quickly.
Day or two?
Yeah, probably. Was there a countdown saying it was 2 days or something like that?
Oh yeah, I think there was. I might have it written down here somewhere. I have all my notes, but I just took too many notes. That as always that happens.
And of the two movies I've seen involving a falling moon, this is actually the more scientifically accurate.
I do love me some Moonfall though. That's one. Is that the one you're talking
that
about?
That movie was silly.
Oh, I love it.
That was
so much.
Silly.
I just got a new 4K player, and that's the disc Megan got me to test it in, because it's just Patrick Wilson and Holly Berry and the Game of Thrones guy saving the Earth from the moon. I love it so much. But I love that the lizards just get shot and drowned in this scene. Just that one line. Does anyone ever trust her twice? I guess oh man.
The lizard who for some reason their eyes are in their mouths.
Dive. How would you do that?
And then you had a small little part from Richard O'Brien, who wrote the Rocky Horror Show, as he was Timothy Dalton's right-hand man who he got to help Flash escape. So he wrote, you know, the Rocky Horror Show, the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh
He was the
wow.
host. He was the host of a British game show called The Crystal Maze for years when I was growing up, which was so he was all over TV.
Do you, so this movie was like a moderate hit, popular in England, popular
Yeah,
basically in
this
Europe.
would have been. I think it didn't do very well in the US, but it did quite well globally.
What's your history with this movie? Because this is the first time I've ever
Um,
watched it.
I would have watched it on TV growing up. I remember my mum quite liking it, so it was one of those that she'd be like, "Oh, Flash Gordon's on, let's watch that." So I don't know what age I was when I first saw it, but I remember just loving the whole setting. You know, you've got this hero, and then you've got these flying hawk people, and then you've got these other people, and you've got very, very clear goodies and baddies. It's all just very frenetic and energetic and colorful, and basically checks all the boxes of a growing adolescent.
Nah, you're absolutely right. I wish I would have watched this when I was younger. I would have loved it. But I think it came out during a rough time too. I mean, it came out in 1980 and just like December 5th. You
So
already
that would
had
have been what post what Empire Strikes Back came out that summer, I think.
yeah, so it's just I don't know. I think you don't really because you don't really have a star. Max is a big guy, but he's not like a big name. You have Flash. I mean, I
Well,
think Queen was probably
he
the
was a
biggest selling point.
nobody.
Yeah, exactly. I think Queen was probably the biggest. Like sound like
But
Dalton wasn't
but
that guy.
even then,
Topo.
you know, Queen, this was their first soundtrack. You know, they
Yeah.
did Highlander years later, but Flash Gordon was the first one they'd actively contributed to the soundtrack on.
Jeez
And they
Louise.
would have been big, but they weren't, I think, massive.
Yeah,
I
not
think
yet.
Queen didn't kind of hit their peak until the 80s. They would have, if you were familiar, I think Bohemian Rhapsody would have been out. There would have been a couple of albums, but I think when it went into the 80s was when Queen became global.
Got it. And I don't know. This went under my radar for so it wasn't on cable much here in the States. Or maybe but I also never watched like Last Starfighter or Ice Pirates. So it's
The Last Starfighter is amazing. I love that.
yeah. Well, we're doing that next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I wish I had more to say about Flash Gordon because it's just so earnest. There's no hidden meaning. There's no themes tackled. Like, in Star Trek, I think you and I had a good time just talking about the way the cast was treated or who made the decisions. And I mean, this movie had plenty of money. It had last minute changes, but I mean, what I
They
think the biggest compliment I can give this film is it was made in 1980, but this looks like it's a 1986 movie or 87, if that makes sense.
if you look at it with a critical eye, some of the compositing could have been better. No, on some of the even for 1980, I guess you can, well, comparing like for like, you can look at what Lucasfilm was doing in the opening scenes of Hoth, for example, where they were compositing the AT-ATs behind the snow speeders versus the Hawkmen kind of compositing,
Or
where
even
you could
Superman's flying in 78.
well, yeah, exactly. So there was prior art out there that was a bit better than this, but it's not bad. It's of the time.
That was definitely an afterthought, the compositing. I think where the money went were the sets and wardrobe for
Well,
this movie.
they filmed a lot of it with blue screen.
Oh, okay.
And the director said he said I didn't know what was going to be on that screen. So it was like that was filled in later.
Oh my gosh. But he still got the performances. I think and you know what I think
Well, it
works too?
helped that people liked the material.
Exactly.
Brian Blessed was a huge Flash Gordon fan, and specifically, he was a fan of the character Voltan. So he was delighted to be there.
Man. And like we have a right to fight. And he's like, oh, this blasted rules or something like that.
You
He's
want
just
to live forever?
dive. He's just his
I
energy is
loved,
infectious in this
I
movie.
loved in that American football fight scene. every cutaway to Brian Blessed was
Bonk.
brilliant.
Yeah, he's
Where he
bonking
was,
people on the head.
he first he trips one of them over, then he bonks one on the head, and then he bonks another one on the head, and he just gives a little kind of side eye and a smirk. It's just brilliant.
Oh yeah, and also that guy tries to kill Ming in the beginning, but he gets slaughtered, which I'm assuming the rest of his crew get killed as well.
I don't know. Would he kill them all or just the leader?
He's like, "You're getting nothing," and he's like, "Well, kill yourself." That's it. That's interesting world building that's never brought back. I think
Yeah,
this is one
well,
of the. Oh,
they
sorry.
had some other races as well. There was the blue people,
Yeah,
the ones all dressed in blue, who were supposedly the ice people. The thing is, I guess in the comic books, these are fleshed out. So if you've actually read the books, you would have seen this. But it's they were there just to add dressing or add lived-in world, so that it's not just oh there are the hawk people and the forest people and that's it. It's like no, those all these other guys at this thing.
that's a good point.
One
They all look
interesting
great.
thing, one interesting thing that they did talk about is so you know the floating orb thing
Yeah, yeah.
that was added as a plot device to help with filming issues. So they needed to be able to film from certain angles and they couldn't fit it into the sets that the guy had built. So they decided to use a goldfish bowl lens on this thing. And then they're like, how can we fit this into the plot? Okay, we'll have this thing and we'll be filming out this thing's eyes. So that's why we have the fisheye lens.
For a movie that couldn't shoot a lot and it ran out of time, it's it still makes sense. It's a
Yeah.
and like even the ending's pretty hilarious because he just rides a ship straight into Ming.
They straight up said we didn't know how to end it. This was the only way we could think of to end the movie.
And that's when you got a good crew. So you and I have talked about movies before where they didn't have a script, they like people weren't in on it, people were annoyed, people were fighting. This seems like an experience where people kind of wanted to be. I know Hodges got beat up on it, but it seems, well, I know Sam Jones left too, but he also said he wouldn't have done that because his management got in his head. I don't know. This seems like just a movie that would have been chaos. It would have been awesome to work on, Niall, because you're just like, what's happening today? And just watching an inexperienced actor, and then they're just trying, and then like these amazing costumes pop up. It would be a fun set to be on, I think, just to watch the chaos and to see the giant sets.
Well, yeah, the sets they filmed all over London. I think any studio space they could get, they took over and built these massive sets.
Oh, and like I don't know, and like then you have the guy who directed Get Carter. I don't know. I look, and like he did Croupier too, which is another good
Yeah,
movie. I was like,
he's he had chops.
yeah. So I just I love it. I love that they had no idea what they were doing, and they somehow made this ultra cult classic. But I think that's the only way you can make an ultra cult classic, though. I think you have so many different elements. You have people who don't speak English, people who speak English. You have a rogue production designer, costume designer, a new star, money being thrown at this thing, a director who was known for smaller films. Like, I don't know. I just kind of I like that.
And
I think that
he put in the hours.
exactly.
He spent 3 weeks with Queen doing the music,
Wow.
where they were starting at 2 in the afternoon and finishing up at 8 the next morning sometimes for
Wow.
3 weeks straight.
And they still make good stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
this is the complete opposite of Ice Pirates, where they had a budget, then it got cut completely in half, or by like
Well,
80%, and
this
then everyone realized
it
what
was
they were making sucked, and so they just had fun. This is the different thing.
well, I think that was down to the producer being so passionate about getting it made and finding the money for it and believing in it.
Yeah. And then you get like this is a massive cult classic, I think.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is and what okay, what do you think it is? I just kind of explained it, but to you, why do you think this latched on with audiences? Like why do you think this became a good cable movie? Why do you think this sold a lot of copies? Like what are like
It,
four elements you think aided that?
it's it's like what you already said. It's very approachable for a start. There are no deep themes that need to be picked out from underneath layers of metaphor and allegory. It
Yeah.
is very much what you see is what you get. It's got a bunch of very good supporting actors. Obviously, Sam J. Jones was inexperienced, but does a perfectly serviceable job as the hero. You've got the hero is believable as this fish out of water, which is what you need. You have a film that isn't taking itself too seriously,
Yeah.
which means you don't need to really be, oh, well, he said this tiny thing to that character 5 scenes ago, and this is going to be really important. It's more, Flash, I love you. Oh, we have 14 hours to save the world. Okay, continue. Back to the fighting.
Finish this fight. Yeah. You're right. There's no drama. It's like a perfect cable movie because he dies, he's back to life. They become friends. He's moving fast. There's so many different outfits. You could cut this movie pretty much anywhere for a commercial break and be fine.
Yeah.
Oh man. I love it. I'm so glad we did this. It's just a nice, fun cult classic that you could just put on TV and forget about. But you know that there's certain scenes, and you know there's certain lines. You talked about doing a draft. Do you want to do the? You want to talk about other?
Yeah, we could talk about well, we have the music. So Queen did the soundtrack for this. They also did the soundtrack for Highlander, which I think is superior.
I mean,
I think
two cult
it's
classics.
yeah, but if you look at I think if you look at the songs that they did for Highlander versus the songs they did for Flash Gordon, I think the ones off Highlander um are slightly superior. But
No,
then, you could look at Tron Legacy, for example, with Daft Punk. I haven't actually seen the new Tron, but I know Nine Inch Nails did the score for it.
that's a booming score. That movie is propulsive because of Nine Inch Nails. And like I know, yeah, it's Nine Inch Nails. I know it's Reznor and Atticus, but wasn't it not
Yeah,
Nine
but
Inch Nails who got together?
it was credited as Nine Inch Nails.
Oh man, Tron Ares is just a chase film. It's a movie that would be good on cable. Like I think if Tron Ares came out in the 90s or 80s, people would love it because it's just a chase film. It's a perfect cable movie, but we're not in an age of cable movies anymore. So I
Another
think it hurt.
one which is absolutely iconic, Graduate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's
Simon and Garfunkel, that whole album has every single track off that from that film is pretty much iconic.
yeah, that kind of yeah, that was an amazing album. I like Air by Virgin Suicides. That one's great. Chemical Brothers did Hannah. I love that one as well. I don't know if we're going like Tangerine Dream. Like I love Sorcerer Near Dark.
Yeah, no, there are. It's kind of interesting when movies take a different tack, I think, rather than having just a traditional composer. I really liked, with Tron Legacy. I remember when it was announced because I'm a big Daft Punk fan. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And the Daft Punk soundtrack was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, D-Res rules.
Yeah.
I have that
Um,
fancy Mondo vinyl soundtrack. That makes me very happy.
you can look at Batman. Prince did a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a really good score. And also, Burton didn't want that. So then the next film is just basically Elfman.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you heard the episode, but Billy Business and I got together and we put together a soundtrack for Batman Returns of music around that time. It was fun. We put
Oh,
together a
interesting.
soundtrack for that, like a Batman Forever type '90s soundtrack where they were just picking random bands and putting them on the soundtrack. But I think the cohesion works though. Like when I think what Fight Club had some of the Pixies music in there. I think
Yeah.
It Follows had a really interesting synth score. I like that idea of like bringing in someone interesting for that and like doing the score. I think it could go wrong. Like I love Ravenous, but that movie's score is crazy. I don't know if you heard that. The guy from Blur worked
I
on
don't
it.
think so.
Have you watched?
Damon Albarn.
Yeah, I think he did the score. And when you should just go on like wherever you listen to music, Niall, and just pull up the Ravenous soundtrack. And it's just a bunch of noises. And it makes the movie feel so, I don't know, unique, I guess. And I guess that's why a lot of people remember it is because they just made such a outside the box score. And I love that about it. And yeah, you're right. When this Flash Gordon comes on, man, I was listening to on Spotify earlier. Like you get pretty pumped up for the movie.
Well, I told you a couple of weeks ago, whenever we were last talking, that we had Spotify or whatever does their Wrapped, so you have your year in music, and Flash Gordon soundtrack was one of my top played albums.
Where do you listen to it at?
I listen just on Spotify, just sometimes I just put it on and it's like, oh, I just really fancy listening to the Flash Gordon soundtrack.
All right. What songs do you recommend? Because I just listened to the main. Should I just play it all the way through?
I just listen to it straight all the way through.
Got it.
It just flows, and the tracks they have it's almost like watching the film because it's pretty much ripped directly from the movie. So you even have the dialogue that's going on in the scenes as it's playing.
Oh, I love that. Any other thoughts about this? Is crazy because like I know our episode's short here, but it's just tough because it's Flash Gordon.
Well, we could just go and rave about it for another. Just be like, oh, do you remember that bit?
And we're probably forgetting a lot. I guess.
Oh yeah.
I guess what I like is it's just cheerful. It's a cheerful movie. I think it embraces the the absurdity of it. You know, I don't. It's just an odd. This is a movie I think is interesting to study, and I know I've said this a lot, but I like knowing what elements went into a movie and how it came to be. And I think all the disparate elements that came into this and last minute hirings and I think that's what makes it fun. I don't know. It was brought to life by a producer who just really wanted to make it. And I think that's why it seems less like a corporate cash grab. Like you watch Gods of Egypt and you're like, why does this exist? But then you watch Flash Gordon, you're like, oh, okay, I know why this exists. Like it's just a guy who loves this property and people who loved it. Like John Carter, you don't feel any love in it.
No.
And so I don't know. I think Ice Pirates is fun, but everyone just realized they are making kind of a pile of crap, which I think hurts its rewatchability because it's just.
Whereas I think with Flash Gordon, you had the director and the star both leaving. Kind of, Mike Hodges had a falling out with Dino De Laurentiis as well, I think, during it at one
Wow.
stage, and Sam J. Jones, he had to leave before post was done. So I think they said 50 odd percent of his dialogue was overdubbed by somebody else who'd done, I think, Flash Gordon radio plays or something. But when you hear them talk about it now, they still love it. So Mike Hodges, obviously, I think he's deceased now, but when he's spoken about it 20 years later, he just couldn't contain how much fun he had making the movie. And the same with Sam J. Jones. I think he's a bit disappointed he didn't get to make the sequel, that they left open the end with the classic "the end?" question mark.
Yes, the same way Masters ends, which makes me happy. And you know what's interesting
They should have a crossover.
Oh my gosh.
Masters of the Universe, Flash Gordon crossover with He-Man, Dolph Lundgren on a space jet ski.
They're both on space jet skis, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's on like a space disc flying around. And somehow a movie made 7 years prior, well, with much more money, not made by Canon Films, looks better. But you know what's interesting too about this movie is like someone brought this up, not me, but there's no robots in it. Like this Ice Pirates has a lot of robots. I think.
I guess.
I mean, there's that orb.
No, there's only that orb thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have any throwaway robots to dismember.
And also, oh, go for it.
What was an interesting choice as well is that all the different races have different colored blood.
I noticed that. Or just become oil.
Yeah, that was weird. That was apparently the guy who played Clytus had begged the directors, like, look, perhaps as I die, my mask could fall off and you could see my face. He's like, no, we're not showing your face. It's gonna melt.
When his face melt, and then when that lady became oil. And I also love, according to the director, they said from where the film ends now, at the wedding crashing, that was the start of a new major sequence that was going to involve Ming turning into fabulous creatures and fighting Flash, the Hawkmen, and the Tree Men. It all had to be cut. And this guy said literally the pages were pulled. They were like, no time for that. Haven't got time for that. They had the money for it, but no time. So they just pulled pages from the script.
And then they just decided, okay, we'll kill Ming by impaling with a spaceship. And then we'll have the little robot just say, okay, that's the movie, over. Well done, Flash.
Yes.
You're the winner.
It works, but it works. Yeah. And I like that. I like Topo's role in this as the scientist. He's funny. He chases away his assistant. He's a good time in it. He doesn't get his memories wiped. It's just, I don't know.
Because of Shakespeare.
And his memory sequence is pretty gnarly.
Like well, that through his was life. Filmed. I can't remember who. So they got this guy in specifically to do that sequence. So he'd he'd worked with Mike Hodges before on some basically time lapse stuff, and he basically brought this guy in specifically to film that sequence, and he nailed it. That was world history in 30 seconds or whatever, or recent world history.
Oh, yeah, that scene looks good. And you know, it was interesting to read too that Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, they weren't big either, but then they
Well, they're
became big
both cult
hits.
classics as well. I
Yeah. That was like an era
Dark,
of cult classics, was it not?
yeah, it's one of those things where I guess they had to find their audience.
Yeah.
And I think it would be interesting to see Flash Gordon in a theater. Obviously, I've seen it at home. I don't think I ever saw it in the cinema. They did do a re-release recently, but I didn't catch it. Whereas Dark Crystal, I don't think you need to. I don't think it's got that bombastic quality.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's pretty quite dark.
Yeah,
And I found the quote here by Dino. Can I read it to you? It's
go for it.
He goes, "This film works on two levels. It's a Saturday morning action movie for children, but on another level, I think it had a serious effect on some men's sexual fantasies." He's like, 40 years later, the 8-year-olds who watch his children can now watch it with their own children. The children will see the innocent side, and adults will see the sexual side, and the circle will start again. And they said they largely cast to match the looks from the cartoon, and then they just said the acting will be all right because the Dino liked people's faces, which I love.
Well, that was it. That was why he hired the director. He said he liked his face.
And also, Brian Blessed said, "I'm very critical of people say it's a camp film." He's like, "It's not, it's perfection." Kenneth Branagh, Patrick Stewart, Derek Jacobi all agree with me. He said it's a masterpiece. He said it was the first time space wasn't just a black sky.
Well, yeah, they did. I think they used water and basically oil paint to create those sky effects, and they were swirling around different colored oil paints and things like that to have the Mongo sky background.
I mean, that
Again,
makes
just
sorry.
kind of doing what they could to make it work. They went into it without a plan other than, hey, we need a cool sky. How can we make a cool sky?
I don't know, figure it out later. Like, I love that. And then, if you think about Alien, Star Wars, Superman was brightly colored, but he kind of went to space. But yeah, I think Alien was quite bleak. Empire Strikes Back was quite bleak. So then you just have this movie with its bright, absurd colors, and it's
Well, if you look at Batman, going back to the 60s, Batman was bright colors,
yeah.
comic book. It wasn't until Tim Burton took it on in the late 80s where you had this dark Batman.
Those movies blew my mind. But then you have Sam Raimi's bright Spider-Mans that exploded. It's an interesting, I don't know. But I completely understand why this movie became a cult classic, why Sam Jones always had lines at his booth. It's just, I don't know, it's a good time. This is a movie I would watch this. This is more of a watchable than Ice Pirates, would you say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah. Ice Pirates, I enjoyed rewatching it, but I don't feel the need to rewatch it again for probably another 5 years. Whereas Flash Gordon, I've watched twice in 3 days, and I could probably put it on again right now and still enjoy it.
I agree. It's just I think just the jovial nature of it. And I think that's the same with a lot of rewatchable movies. I love A Knight's Tale. That movie's just a happy movie. And when there's the sad scenes, they're about 3 minutes. Like when he breaks up with the lady, she's like, "All right, we're back." And then when he gets put in chains, they're like, "All right, let him go." Like there's no real drama. Or that movie Evolution, that's just like pure funny.
The David Duchovny,
Oh
is
yeah,
it?
and Orlando Jones are incredible, and like Julianne Moore's just falling all over the place, and Sean William Scott's being Sean William Scott. It's just a funny movie, and it's just very silly. And I like you said, there's not much drama in any of them, so I think that's what makes them rewatchable. But also, I think the fact that aside from Ice Pirates, all three of those movies had budgets to see them through. They didn't get hacked in
Yes.
like in half and realize they were working on crap. So I think there's like an ironic vibe, I guess, to Ice Pirates where they all realized what they were working on, and it's still fun. We had a good time with it, but I like the earnestness, I guess, of those three films that I'm talking about. And I think that's what makes them so rewatchable.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're complete visions.
There it is. Even though they had to rip out pages, they still were able to have enough money to do it. So, oh, this rocked, man. Anything else you want to cover on this movie?
And I think we're good. I might go and watch it again, but
And I love Sam Jones too. He wasn't doing a lot of work, so his wife told him to go make money. So he just got
he
to
was in.
he was
A
in
random episode of Stargate XG-1. He popped up as a bounty hunter in that at one stage.
do you know what he did? What he does now?
No?
Oh, so he's a security consultant. So he goes, you reach a point in your career when the weeks turn into a month or more of the phone not ringing. My wife said, "Honey, get your ass outside and don't come back until you have a job." I thought about what I could do, what I was. One day I called a major security company that was known for hiring good professionals, elite guys. I said, "Hey, what do I need to do to come on board?" They said, "Look, it's going to take you a while to do it." They sent me a specialized training and to specialized training. I excelled in that. The next thing you know, I was sent to Los Angeles protecting a billionaire. From there, I was sent to New Orleans in the wake of Katrina to protect executives who decided to remain. I just excelled there. And so he's like, hopefully this doesn't come across as arrogant, but I know myself. We know our skill sets and our core competencies. So yeah, he's like, if I was to go out and try to
He's
record an
now
album,
like an elite bodyguard now.
yeah, he's an elite bodyguard.
So if Ming does come calling, we can send him.
And you know what else we didn't talk about was the I never got the joke in Ted.
Oh yeah, with where you had he was riding the jet ski
Yeah, with Mark
with
Wahlberg,
the yeah.
and he's at the party. Like I never got that, but Seth told him that like Flash Gordon changed his life forever, which kind of makes me happy. And so when I watched Ted, I was like, I like this guy. He's funny, but I had no idea the significance of it because I wasn't a Flash Gordon guy.
Well, now you can rewatch Ted and fully appreciate that it was what a 30-second sequence.
Yeah, just showing up and them, and like, that makes I don't know. I think for yeah, I guess I never had that experience. I was like more of a Return of the Jedi type guy. So or like a Big Trouble in Little China. And they wanted Kurt Russell for this role, but he said no.
Well, apparently they cast Schwarzenegger, but they his accent was too strong, so they decided not to go ahead with him.
That makes sense. Like I think Sam's earnestness is perfect in this movie because the movie's basically about vibes and the look, not about And also you have Max von I keep messing up his name. Sydow, Max von
Sydow,
Sydow, Max von
Sydow.
Sydow. I keep messing that up. But you have him. You have like a bunch of really experienced British actors. Dalton, theatrically trained and like on stage. And just
They had
bringing
a
Sam
guy,
Jones.
one of the guys in a cameo as one of the forest people was like this guy who'd written supposedly several really influential British plays, and Mike Hodges just kind of got him in as a bit part. It's like, hey, I'm doing this movie. I think he'd done a small role in Get Carter as well, and he called him up to get him in this as well.
So you have a bunch of good actors. You have Sam Jones, who's now a bounty hunter. And it's great. I don't know. This makes me happy. So yeah, I'm glad we did this. And I got some of my research out. I normally do a lot of research and I never share it, but I'm glad I got to tell you that he's a bounty hunter now. So that makes me happy.
Nice.
And I also love the scene where he tricks Dalton. He's like, I tricked you.
It's like, haha, I can act.
Yeah.
I wasn't stung at all.
Oh my gosh. That tree's terrible. And that spider thing that swallows him is horrifying.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But hey, you want to promote anything? Where can people find you?
I am at El Nilo on the social thingamajiggies.
It's all over the world, jet setting.
I try.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, man. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for now more, this is Movie Stones and Flicks. We'll see you next week.